alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello dear viewers, welcome to another episode of our second season, and with me here today is my brother Sheba. I won't talk much about him, he's going to tell us about himself. So today inshallah we are going to talk about the subject of self-discipline being the greatest form of self-love, and inshallah we are going to bring this into an Islamic perspective. So welcome Sheba. Say hi to the viewers and tell them about yourself.
Shukran. Assalamu alaikum everybody, and I hope you're really doing fine. My name is Sheba. I am a third year clinical medicine undergraduate student, and I also have a YouTube channel showing the days to day life of a clinical medicine student, how life is as a student, the sort of behind the scenes of a student life, and a few adventures, advice, tips and tricks on a few things that concern us as students, and so much more.
Yeah. So let's talk more about your channel, like the videos you make. They are behind the scenes. They are student life oriented. But we want to look at the inspiration behind all that. Why did you start that YouTube channel? And what keeps you going and vlogging each and every time?
And the reason why I started my YouTube channel, alhamdulillah, was I am a person who loves seeing clips. I love following footsteps. Like, I need to see what other people have done, successful people, and sort of like live into their stories and follow them. So when I started school, alhamdulillah, in first year, I was like, I love YouTube intrinsically, alhamdulillah. So I went on YouTube and was looking for someone who was in my shoes already, like someone who was already there. But then I just found videos of students abroad, or maybe doing other things, other causes, but specifically for the ground where I was, there was no one standing with a voice. So I decided, why not fill it up? Because I'm going to go through it, and somebody else is going to see through my journey what it really entails, the ups and lows and everything that is going to happen along the way. So why not fill that gap? And the reason why, alhamdulillah, I keep on going is because of you viewers, and when I'm going to testify to this, inshallah, as the channel keeps on growing, is people are going to appreciate your work. People are going to tell you, you know what, Wana, oh my God, I was in such deep state in my life, but I watched one of your videos and I'm like,
it was a breakthrough.
Alhamdulillah, thank God I saw this video. So I get a lot of those messages these days especially, and I'm so grateful. There's one dua I got from a subscriber. They told me, may you be blessed for the rest of your life. I have never been happier. Like, the minute I saw that, I was like, this is what I want to do. Because I love serving others, and it brings me a lot of joy seeing that my journey can bring an impact to another person. It's so satisfying.
Okay, that was really nice there, alhamdulillah. So, going into our topic today, self-discipline. We know that self-discipline is that act of doing what you are supposed to do. And it is something that most of us naturally struggle with. And sometimes we as Muslims, we don't even see that self-discipline is actually in our religion, because we have Salah. Salah is something that happens 5 times a day. We have Saum in the month of Ramadan, where we are told that we should stay from dusk to dawn without eating anything, with abstaining from things that we are fond of doing. So self-discipline, when we look at it, it's actually in our religion, but it's just something that we don't wear it as Muslims, to an extent that people label Muslims as people who have no direction, people who are not disciplined. So let's talk about it today. What is self-discipline from your perspective, and how is it connected to self-love?
On my side, alhamdulillah, self-discipline is doing the right thing. Discipline in general, as to my perspective, is doing the right thing, and it just doesn't come naturally. It's something that is a process, like a muscle. You need to overwork it and overwork sometimes so that you get the right shape and the direction. But concerning to our lives as Muslims and discipline, for me it's generally the idea of al-mustaqbal, the future. in as much as we are living in the present, فيه يوم سنحشر أمام الله. There is a day that we will be resurrected. There is a future. In as much as this minutes right now, there is a future me that is dependent upon this moment in life. So if I make the right decisions at this point, it's the future me that is getting the faida, the future me that is benefiting. Not only like at the moment it might be really difficult to do a certain thing. مثلا في الصلاة يعني you might want to wake up in the morning. Maybe you're not a morning person and you hate absolutely everything about the morning, but then you have to drag yourself for salah 1 hour, and because you might find it difficult to enjoy the current moment, but you tell yourself هذا من أنواع السبل إلى رضا الله. يعني you will find the happiness of Allah, the guidance of Allah, the rida of Allah through performing actions such as salah. So, and that is why do you need rida Allah? Because rahmatullah is what is going to get us into paradise. So you need that for your future you. Like you're doing it in as much as, or you might love salah, alhamdulillah, but you're doing it in as much as you love it, but also there's a reason in the future why you're doing it. So for me, it's usually mustaqbal. Yani there's always a future you that is dependent upon the actions that you do now. So it's upon you to like the responsibility. If you know better, you will do better for him or her, because their life at that point in the future is dependent upon your actions at the moment.
Exactly. So I'd like to bring in this point, which I read from a book we reviewed recently, Reclaim Your Heart, and it was talking about the concept of the hereafter. Like, we are told in this hadith that this dunya is normally like a prison for the believers, and it is a luxurious place, or Jannah, for the non-believers. This doesn't mean that the believers here suffer or what. No, they have everything they want. They can have everything they want, but they don't feel comfortable. They don't feel that they are home. Like, the similitude of a believer is the similitude of a prisoner. They are not home where they are. They know that there is a better home for them. Exactly. So whatever they do, they are doing it for their future. Exactly. And I think we can bring that into, when we use that similitude in every aspect of our lives, mashallah, inshallah, we are going to be somewhere in our lives. So we've talked about self-discipline in ibadah. Now we'd like to look at self-discipline in other aspects of our lives, like health, studies, and work.
Now, so discipline can come in various forms, as in it can fill every gap in our lives. That's the beauty about discipline. Like, it gives structure to our entire lives. Now let's take, for example, the health scenario. You know, mathalan, in religious perspectives, it is haram to smoke. Let's look at the meaning. Remember your future self, the future self analogy. Now, the future self, Yawm al-Qiyamah, is going to face a consequence of that smoking, because if you don't ask for forgiveness before your death, it's punishable. Washay thani, your health. Was smoke leo, but there's a future self of you also in this world, 10 years to come, 40 years to come, that is dependent upon the actions that you take today. You as you, if you smoke today, the action, like you smoke for like 10 years, there's another 10 years of you that are dependent upon the 10 years you've done right now. And you see where this is going?
Yeah, I see.
And then another way is like studies. We are students, so we have to talk about it, alhamdulillah. Studying. Most of us tend to like procrastinate and then listen, so many. But the idea is, we know the consequences.
We really do.
Sure, yeah. We know the consequences, like, nikisoma, exams is in 10 days. But if I start today studying, Leo I'll cover 2 topics, tomorrow 2 topics. By the 9th day, that's 18 topics already. That's like 18 PowerPoints, for example. And it's a really big process, and you can literally see it. But then you choose to do the right thing.
Because there is the temporary pleasure you gain by procrastinating. So you tell yourself, I'm not going to study today because I want to watch something, or I want to go surfing on social media.
Yeah.
So you risk your future self for something that is temporary.
Exactly.
And we look at the same similitude of a prisoner.
Exactly.
We, as believers, or as students too who are believers, we should not just look at the small picture.
Exactly.
We should look at the big picture.
The entirety of the situation.
Exactly.
Exactly, and that's like we were about to talk about how we can incorporate discipline in our daily lives, and basing on that temporary pleasure, this tip we are going to talk about, there is time for literally everything. In as much as you want that pleasure, you deeply want it, to go and see what someone has posted on Instagram, watch a certain YouTube video, go and just relax. There's time for that. You can't be disciplined about your time. Set some time aside to study and use your breaks for those temporary pleasures. And this is like another beauty about discipline. It structures our lives and makes life seemingly easier. I don't know if this is the big. It's really big because
once you internalize the aspect of self-discipline in your life, it becomes way easier. Like you just find yourself doing stuff without forcing it. But when you are starting off, it's really hard. You really have to beat yourself up. Yeah. And the main thing is you should never give up on yourself. You might sleep and procrastinate for a moment, but when you realize that whatever I'm doing is wrong, then get up and do the right thing. So yeah,
exactly. Like doing the right thing. There's always a decision you have to make. So look at the bigger picture, the entirety of the situation, and make the right decision. There's this thing I always tell myself, I remind myself as much as possible, as much as I can, always do the right thing. Like, it's going to be difficult at some point, but the easiest way to get discipline into your life is to do the right thing. Nafaa nisome saizi, and I can watch a movie. It's 10 days to exams. But I can also study for 2 hours, watch 1 episode. You know, it's somehow that simple. Make the right decision. Reduce your optionality and make the right decision. Like,
what do you mean by reduce your optionality?
Like in a situation, for example, the studying analogy, you might find yourself but then that's the time about vyombo sijaosha, room chafu, sijui nini. Like there are a lot of ideas popping up, and then you're like, basi acha nifanye hii, no. Ama sijui sijaanza kusoma, sijui pepa zangu ziko wapi, sijui vitabu zangu ziko wapi. No, reduce your optionality, squeeze yourself to like literally the next 5 minutes. What can I do in the next 5 minutes that is going to saidia mimi in my studies? Let's say, for example, I just need to find a book. Focus on that. Reduce the optionality of very many options. Focus pale tu. I need to find my book. Look at the notes. Make sure whatever. Just focus on the next step and making the right next step. That's like reduce your optional. Reduce the things you have to do. Reduce. Sasa sina notes. Since you need no. Reduce the optional. Yani at this moment, what can I do that is right and it's going to be beneficial for the future?
There's this quote that I really love. It says that do something today that your future self is going to be will thank you for. So whatever you said is true. Literally, okay, before I even talk about what I want for my future, I've already seen the relevance of me doing some stuff that I didn't want to do. And right now I just look at whatever I did and I'm like, I was so afraid of doing this. I really didn't want to do it, but today, alhamdulillah, I'm so glad that I did this.
That feeling is usually so indescribable. Like, I'm so proud of myself for doing this back. Because, like, for example, preparing your notes as a student and making sure you have all the material 2 to 3 weeks before the exams. When that time comes, you will thank yourself like,
exactly.
man, I'm so proud of you for
because
this.
when you go to the exam, you just keep on writing and
Exactly.
writing. And
Things
you
just
leave the
flow out
exam
of
room, you're
your
just
body.
so happy.
Exactly.
Rather than when you go to an exam room, you spend your entire time watching or even doing things that are not even helpful to your studies, and then here you are in the exam room beating yourself up. That is actually not even self-love.
Exactly.
That is being detrimental to your own self. So Alhamdulillah, Sheba, I think that is all we have for today. And Alhamdulillah, this was a very enlightening session on my side, and I hope you guys have benefited from this, and we ask Allah to give us the ability to be self-disciplined in our lives, in our daily life, and in preparing for our own home, like our real home, which is the hereafter, inshallah. So thank you guys for watching. Follow Sheba on Instagram. What's your
I have an
Instagram
Instagram account, just the name Med Sheba. It's just the inshallah
And
in the
YouTube?
description box. And in YouTube, it's literally the same words, Med Sheba, M-E-D, then Sheba as spelled. Yeah. So, and for final remark, guys, there's a future you dependent on you. There's a future you dependent on the present you. So make the right decisions.
Thank you so much, Sheba. So, guys, I don't want to add anything. Something may just pop up and the video is going to be too long. So, inshallah, keep praying for us so that we can have more guests, more amazing guests that are going to enlighten us as Muslim youth. And ma salama.
Thank you for having me, Mana. Bye, guys.